Hello, and welcome to the Knitting with Cat Hair podcast. My name is Nikki. I am also known as Knitting with Cat Hair on Instagram and Cat Hair Knitting over on Ravelry. I'm coming to you from the city of Greater Sudbury, Ontario, Canada, which lies atop the traditional lands of the Tegmishing Anishinaabeg people, where I live with my teenage daughter and our 4 cats, hence the name of the podcast, as I'm always finding cat hair in my knitting. So first off, I just want to extend a big thank you to all the lovely well wishes and comments that were left on my last video. Thank you so much. I say it time and time again, but this knitting community really truly does blow me away with their kindness and just the generosity. And yeah, I just want to say a big thank you. Thank you so much. And yeah, so with that, I think we'll just jump right into the making. So it's still fall here. There's not too many leaves left on the trees right now, but I thought I would wear my chestnut cardigan because I'm still feeling the fall feels. And so today I'm wearing my chestnut cardigan by Wallin. I finished this a couple years ago. This was my first big all over colorwork project that I made. And yeah, I really enjoyed the process. I learned so much through the construction of this garment. And yeah, I love it. It's nice and warm and it still smells so sheepy. It was knit with Marie Wallin's British Breeds. And that's a very sheepy yarn and I just love it. Okay, so that is what I'm wearing. So just a heads up, I have 0 finished objects for today, but I do have quite a few new cast-ons and whips and a new crochet project that I'm going to talk about. So first off, maybe I'll give you an update on some of the previously shown projects. So yes, I'm still trucking along on my Saven by Meghan Babin. This is an all-over cabled sweater that is knit in pieces, bottom up and then seamed. And I finished the sleeves a long time ago now. I think I started this project actually in, I want to say like maybe February of this year or something like that, as I was really craving a cable sweater. And it's just been slow going. The sleeves took no time at all. I finished them, knit them 2 at a time. They flew off the needles, and now I have been struggling to get through this massive back piece forever. So here is what I have to date. It is extremely long, and this is again a case of where I wish that I would have tried to convert the pattern to knitting top down, so that I could have shortened the length, because right now I'm not even done. I still have, I think, several inches to go. This progress keeper shows you where I was the last time I showed this piece on my last episode. And it is turning out to be one of those, if you watch Gilmore Girls, it's like a Rory oversized, like severely oversized cable sweater. Which, I mean, isn't a bad thing. It just seems to be taking so much longer than it needs to. Yeah, so I am knitting this up out of 2 yarns. Let's see if I can show you. I am using Briggs & Little Regal in this beautiful green color. I think the colorway is called Fir or Pine. Let me just double check that. Fir green. And I don't know if you can see the tonality in there, but it is a lovely yarn. It's so pretty. But I was really craving something more in the teal turquoise range. So I am pairing it with this blue mohair that is showing up way bluer on screen than it is in person. But yeah, when you combine this green with the blue, then you get this kind of tealy color. It's also showing up way more blue on camera. I think in real life it's more green, but yeah, more of like a sea glass. It's really pretty color. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. So I am not going to show this again until I'm actually done at least the back piece. That's my vow to you. So I am knitting this up using, sorry, I just have my tablet down below here, so I'm using it. I didn't write out project notes today, or podcast notes, sorry. So I have to refer to my Ravelry notes, which, by the way, anything you want to find out more about, I will link down below regarding my projects, any podcasts I happen to mention, any makers, anything like that will all be linked in the description box down below. So I am using a US 6 4mm for the ribbing and a US 8 5mm for everything else. And I am, in this instance, cabling with a cable needle. I have cabled in the past without cable needles, and I have found if they're small enough cables, it's not so noticeable for me, but when they're larger cables, I do notice that I don't necessarily get as clean of a look for my cables, so I have chosen to use a cable needle for this one. And I'm making the size 5, which is normally a 50-inch. However, my gauge is actually looser, so it's turning out larger. And I did already take some length off of the pieces. So for when I knit the sleeves, I took off, I think, 1/2 inch in length, as opposed to what the pattern said, and same with the body. So I've already decreased the size a little bit, but it's still massive, but that's okay. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be comfy and something I can throw on when I'm chilly. It's gonna be lovely. And I know the mohair doesn't make, kind of mutes the cables a little bit, but I think they're still standing out fairly well. Okay, so that is the update on my Saven. Okay, the other project that I had on the go, I think, was my Burra Cowl. Which is a pattern from this book here, Wallin Shetland. I'll just show you a picture of it without the pattern. Yeah, so it's an interesting construction because it's actually knit in the round, so it's doubled, which will make it nice and warm. And I know originally I said I was going to, I made it a little bit thinner. I didn't want it quite so high because my intent was to knit it twice the length and then wrap it around twice. But I think I've decided against that now. So I'm doing my own colors. I'm using Jameson's Shetland Spindrift, which is actually the yarn that's called for in the original pattern, but I'm using completely different colors. So this is where I am now. And I'm trying to remember. So this would be, up to this point, I think would be 1 repeat, this length. And I was gonna do 6, I think, repeats. And now I think I'm just gonna follow the pattern and do a smaller version cowl. I love color work. I don't know why. I'm not loving knitting on this as much as some other color work projects that I've worked on. Firstly, I really don't like this low contrast band, but I don't have the heart to go back and rip that out. And I think I'm at that band right now. Yes, I am. And so I've stalled because I don't want to knit it again. So I'm thinking maybe, sorry, there's a cat doing something. Okay. Thought he was gonna knock something down. Yeah, so I'm thinking I might swap colors out and try and do a different version of this pattern using the colors I'm using, but just in different order. But that's gonna take a bit of brain figuring it out. It took enough time just to figure out this whole repeat in the first place, like swapping out colors. But it's really, it's lovely. I love the colors and they match perfectly the mittens that I made on my last episode, the Tech Gauche mittens by Virginia Sattler Reimer. And so I do want it. I do need it. It'll match my coat. I have an olive green coat. It's gonna look lovely. It's taking me a lot longer than I expected. So that's the update on my Burra Cowl. I am using size US 3.25 millimeter needles to do the color work. And I cast on with a crocheted provisional cast on, so that I could potentially close it up together using Kitchener stitch, which thankfully many of my viewers posted comments letting me know that yes, you can indeed Kitchener stitch something in the round. I guess that makes total sense because people have done that to graft sweaters, like cut a sweater and add length or less length or whatever. So yeah, it's definitely been done. I have not had experience doing it yet. So yay. Something new to learn. Okay, so that's my update on my Burra Cowl. Oh, and it's housed in this really beautiful bag that my mom made me for Christmas last year. The hummingbird on it. It's so pretty. And there's flowers on the back. Okay, and then the other project that I had talked about last time was my self-drafted socks. I was making a pair of cherry socks for my daughter, and I had said that I had, because it has at some points 3 colors in a row for the color work, it was creating a very non-stretchy portion of the sock. So it was making it difficult. She couldn't get it over her heel, and her feet are smaller than mine. I couldn't get it over mine either. So anyways, I regrafted the pattern for 72 stitches, and this is where I'm at now. So I did alter the cherries a little bit too. I think I moved the smaller cherry to the back and the bigger one to the front, and I added some extra kind of size to the leaves. I kept the staggered look to them. And so there's 4 cherries. This is my beginning of round here. So you can see the little jog at the ribbing. I did a 1x1 half twisted rib for the cuff. I think like 8 or 10 rounds. And then I jumped into the sock. And for the sock, because when I knit color work, I tend to knit it tighter than regular non-color work. I have to go up 2 needle sizes to kind of get the same gauge. So I don't know if you can tell. I know in person I can really tell the difference. Yeah, you can kind of see. And I have blocked this. This has been washed now and blocked to try and even out those stitches. It's not as evident, but you can see the line where I switched to smaller needles. So I think I definitely use a US 1 2.25 millimeter for the non-color work sections, the stripes. I'm just checking what I use for the color work. Can't remember if it's a US 2.5. Yes, 2.5, 3 millimeter for my color work. It's really cushy up here actually. And I did my color work pattern, and then I think I did like 2 rounds of just the gray, and then started the heel. And I did a slip stitch, heel flap and gusset, which is my preferred method. I just find that fits my heel better. Fuzz. Thought it was a hole. The colors are showing up. The red is showing up way more cherry red, or poppy red, whereas in real life it's more of a purpley red, like it's got more blue in it. But yeah, these are all Filcolana Arvetta. The colorways will be listed on my project page from Ravelry. The one thing I find is that I don't do color work too often with superwash yarns. And these are all superwash with some nylon in them, and it's definitely not as forgiving as when you use non-superwash. So like when I washed and blocked the stitches, they don't do like what non-superwash yarns do, where they like kind of cling together and they blend together with their fibers or whatever, because the superwash yarn is treated differently, right? It's got the scales removed and such. It just doesn't do that. So it just gives a different look for sure. But I have been knitting a lot of superwash yarn socks lately. So yeah, I just have a little bit more to go, and then I think I am trying to decide what color to do for the toe. It depends on how much yarn I have left. I don't really have a lot of the red, so I might have to just save that for the next sock because I do want them to match. So anyways, yeah, that's the update on my self-drafted cherry pattern socks. And I mentioned this last episode, but I used a program called Stitch Fiddle to graft out the cherries. And you can use the free version. There's a free version. It just doesn't have all the functionalities, and I found it frustrating when I was trying to make this pattern. So I ended up forking out the $7 Canadian or whatever it was for the month to have access to it. So that's what I used to finish this. Okay. All right, so now we're into new projects. So as I mentioned in my last episode, I was going to be returning to the office 4 days a week. I work from home 1 day a week now. And so I needed a project that I could work on at work, something simple. My go-to for that is socks. So housed in this adorable little chubby bee bag by My Needle Crafts. I love this bag. It's a sock bag. It's specifically made for sock knitting. I mean, you could use it for other small projects as well, but there's a divider in it. So you can have, if you're knitting 2 at a time socks, you can have one ball of yarn on one side and one on the other, and hopefully they're not going to get tangled. So it's handy. And there's a little pouch in the middle too that you can put little notions in and stuff. It's a handy, handy bag. So I am knitting socks 2 at a time. And this is my first time doing Shorty socks. I've never done them before. So a long time ago, I can't remember which episode it was, but I do remember watching Sophie of the Cozy Meadow Knits podcast, and she was making Shorty socks at the time, and she described like how many rows she did after her cuff and then when she started her heel. And so I had written that down. I had it on a note in my phone for years, literally for years. In the event that I was going to make some Shorty socks. So yes, I did go ahead and cast them on, and I think it was 10 rounds. Actually, I'll double check. Again, this will all be on my project page, but I'm pretty sure that I did a 1x1 twisted rib for the cuff, cast on 64 stitches. Okay, I did 6 rounds for the cuff, and then 6 rounds. And then I knit 6 rounds and inserted the heel flap and gusset. So really not that many before you start the heel. And the reason I'm doing Shorty socks is because I have already knit a pair of these socks, a pair of socks out of this yarn. And I only had a little bit left because I had done like a larger men's pair. So I only had a little bit left. And so I didn't want to run out of yarn, try and do like a normal size pair. So I don't know if you can see the colors. This yarn is by Timber Yarns, which is a Canadian, I'm pretty sure they're in Ontario. They're a self-striping yarn dyer. Pretty sure they pretty much only do self-striping. Oh no, they have some solids too to coordinate with their heel for their heels, toes, and cuffs of socks and stuff. But I'm just using a Drops Fable in a off-white kind of cream color for the heels, toes, and cuffs. And I cannot remember the colorway name for this striped yarn. I'm sorry, it's not on my project page, but I'll link it because I've made before. I think it was like Forest or something like that. It's this really pretty sequence of greens and grays. So yeah, these are for my daughter as well. She seems to really like my hand knit socks, so I thought I'd make her a pair of Shorties. And again, I am knitting those on my standard US 2.25 millimeter needles. Okay. Wow, I'm just cruising through. This is going to be I guess a relatively quick episode. Okay, my next new cast on. Sorry, I just have to grab it. I talked last episode about my intentions to make a Christmas sweater. And I had said that I was trying to decide between, I think Fable Knitwear pattern called, I'm trying to remember, the Oxford. is this one here. Or another sweater that was another blousey type sweater with poofy sleeves that was done by Ariana Frasca. And that one was really pretty too. It had like lace down the sleeves and such. So I knew that I wanted to use Cascade Heritage that I had purchased in this like kind of, and I don't know if it's going to show up properly. Oh, it actually kind of is. In this beautiful wine color. It's probably a little more purple in real life. But yeah, this deep red. And I'm pairing it with this that is not the right color. It's not bright like that at all. It's more like this color. But yeah, I'm pairing those two together to get like a wine, burgundy wine color. And so I did some swatching. And I could not get the gauge of either Fable Knitwear design or the Ariana Frasca design. So, and I was like way out. So I was like, okay, those are not an option for me with these yarns. So I use this handy function that I'm sure a lot of you already know about, but if you're new to Ravelry, maybe you don't know, but you can actually search by so many different things. And one of the things you can search on Ravelry is by gauge. So if you have a gauge of a yarn that you've knit, you can, let's say you want to make a cardigan, you could filter it out to search for cardigans that are knit at the gauge that you are knitting at. And that way you don't have to worry about like trying to meet gauge because you already know you're going to meet it. So that's what I did. And I came across a sweater pattern called Nora Sweater, and it's by Irene Lynn. I have not knit any patterns by Irene Lynn before, but I've heard good things about her designs. And so, yeah, that's what I'm making, the Nora sweater. So it has these gorgeous sleeves. So I will have popped in a picture. The sleeves are textured, and it's created very simply with just a bunch of purl stitches. So I'll show you the right way here. So this is how far I've come. Again, that color is not right. It should be a much darker purpley red, but you can see the diamond texture on the sleeves. So it's a little bunched up on my needles here, but I think you get the gist of it. Yeah, so yeah, it's been really fun because you have, breaks of long sections of stockinette, and then on each sleeve you're doing some patterning. So it's a nice mix of simple and I mean the patterning is not complicated at all. It's literally just knits and purls, and you're increasing as well. So you do not have to know how to do that, but yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So it's knit obviously in the round top down, and you start with a series of short rows at the back. So I don't know if you can tell, but the back is longer than the front. So that's to bring the front down a bit. And the only thing is that now I'm kind of regretting is that you cast on normally. So I think I just did like a normal long tail cast on. And I guess you're gonna have to go back afterwards and pick up and create the collar. Which in this case, I think, sorry, I'm trying to remember what the collar actually looks like. Yeah, it's pretty, it's like almost like a mock neck. Goes up pretty high. It just looks like 2x2 ribbing or something like that. So I'm gonna have to go back and pick up and do that, which I'm not sure why she didn't just have you start that way, like just knit down, but maybe there's a reason. I'm not sure. Because if I don't have to pick up stitches, I prefer not to. But yeah, anyways, this is definitely the best part, is the sleeves. They're so pretty. And you know what? This would even look cute with just short sleeves. And I think some people, I saw some in the project pages that people had done that. That's cute too, without having to make the large voluminous sleeves. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. At some point soon, I'm going to be putting the sleeves, separating for sleeves and body, and putting them on cables, barber cables or whatever, barber cords. And then I'll think about what I want to do. I'll finish the body and see how I want to do the sleeves. But yeah, because I feel like that is a lot of knitting. Those sleeves are very large, very voluminous. But that's what I wanted, so I guess I should kind of stick to the plan. So yeah, and this is the first time that I am knitting a sweater. I chose a sweater based on my upper bust as opposed to my full bust. So it's quite a bit, well, it's smaller. It's about one size smaller than I would normally do. And I'm gonna see how that turns out, because that's something I was mentioning I was having issues with. My knits are always larger than they need to be, I feel like, because I'm always so scared to make them too small. I mean, larger I could still wear. If they're too small, I might not be able to fit them at all. But anyway, so I'm giving that a go, and I'll see how that turns out, and I'll keep you posted. So just in terms of specifications, I am knitting the size 4 for the Nora sweater, and I'm using a US 4 3.5 millimeter for the, that must be for the ribbing. I haven't done any ribbing yet. So right now I'm knitting on US 5 3.75 millimeter. And as I mentioned, I'm using a Cascade Yarn Heritage in the color Wine, and Filcolana Tilia, which is the mohair, in the color Fuchsia. Yeah. So that's that. And the last project I have on the go is a crochet project. So I was on Facebook scrolling through, and I happened to come across this lady's picture of a cardigan that she had just completed, and my daughter was sitting next to me, and I said, oh, look at this, because my daughter has a real love of Kirby, who is a character from like Nintendo character, and it was a Kirby cardigan, and she was like, oh, can you make me that? And I was like, oh, okay, let me find the pattern. Well, it turns out there is no pattern. This lady basically winged it. She found a chart, I guess, for the Kirby. Here, I'll show you what I have so I can tell you what I'm talking about here. So this is sorry, there's like 1,000 yarns attached to this because it's multicolored. Let's see if I can throw them all on the floor. There we go. Okay. It's curling a bit, but basically, this is the back of the cardigan. I'm almost done, so there's going to be like a moon and a little bit of darker purple night sky at the top. And so, yes, this is the chart that she found on a website called Bracelet Book, which I'd never heard of, but I guess it's intended for people who want to do beading and like make bracelets. So there's lots of different patterns on there, and there was this Kirby pattern. And it's all charted, so each, it makes it easy. Each stitch is whatever color. It made it pretty easy to follow. So that's the back. And then the front, hopefully I will have popped in a picture so you can see what it looks like. But basically the front, I think, is just 2 rectangles. So one for the left side and one for the right side. And then you seam those 2 together, and I'm guessing you create either, I don't know if you do it a spiral or like in the round to create the sleeves, or if you crochet them flat and then seam them up like another rectangle. I'm not entirely sure. So I'm not very experienced with crochet, like creating garments at all. So this is a new thing for me. I did a drop shoulder one where it was literally just, again, 2 square panels that you seam together and creates this little drop shoulder top. I've done that, but in terms of like adding sleeves and stuff, not done that yet. So I did find a pattern online that was free that looked similar style to this cardigan that I was able to look at. So I think I'm just gonna follow kind of those instructions, my numbers will be different. But yes, so my daughter's super happy with it. It looks pretty cute. And yeah, she can't wait to wear it. And again, I forget how many colors are in this, but there's quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 7 or 8 colors. And I am on a not buying plastic kick, so I refused to buy acrylic yarn for this. And so again, I went back to Cascade 220, which comes in like a huge amount of colors. So like 93, at least I think 93 different colors. I was having trouble getting all the colors that I needed from one particular shop online. So I ended up at Camilla Valley Farms, which I have mentioned in the past because they do carry all of the Jameson's Shetland Spindrift line. Like they have all the colors there, and they carry a couple others. Like they have a bunch of different Jameson's yarns, not just the Shetland one, but they have others as well. And they carry all the colors. But they apparently carry, as I found out, Cascade 220 in all the colors as well. So I ordered from them. I will say, like, their website's pretty antiquated. Like when you're placing your order, you have to fill out an order form and you have to put in each code for the different yarn that you're ordering, and like by hand, like type it in and how many you want and whatever. I think you can leave the price blank because they'll just fill that in, but you have to know the codes. So it's a little different. Like I'm used to being able to just add something to our carts and check out from there. So it's a little different. But I will say the customer service is fantastic. So I've always had good dealings with them. So highly recommend Camilla Valley Farms, especially if you're going to be doing color work, because they do carry a lot of different, like I said, woolly wools. It's all woolly wools. And they also have, like you can get like some of the Marie Wallin books. You can get some of the Shetland, is it the Shetland Trader books? You can get little kits for like when they do their, what's it called? The Hat of the Year. When Shetland does their festival and they have their hat hat pattern and stuff, you can get kits for it. Yeah, they've got a lot. And they have some yarn on cones. You can get large amounts of yarn if you need it. Anyways, definitely highly recommend checking them out. They're in Canada. There's no free shipping though. That's the other thing to be wary of. Their prices are lower, I find, than anywhere else, but they do not offer free shipping. So it may kind of even out in the end. I don't know. Okay, so yes, that is the Kirby cardigan, and I am crocheting it on a size H hook, I think. I'm just gonna double check. H 5mm hook. My gauge is, so I went down from that pattern that I was kind of comparing the cardigan to. I was trying to get the smallest, extra small size, and so they used a larger hook or whatever. So I just went down from that to try and make it smaller, and it turns out that I guess I don't think I'd want to go smaller than this. Like it's still got like movement to it, so it's not super rigid, but I don't think I would want to go smaller because I feel like it would be like, you know, bulletproof kind of thing, and you want it to be comfortable to wear. You don't want it to be all stiff. At least I don't think my daughter will. So the way that it turned out is my gauge is 14 stitches and 16 rows per 4 inches, which is going to create a size small as opposed to a size extra small, which, I mean, it's okay. It'll be a little bit big on her, but not massively big. And I did all single crochets stitches. It's just single crochets using a ton of colors. I'll show my dirty back. I haven't woven in any of my ends yet, but yeah, there's a lot of color switching. And it's really fun though. It's been really fun. It's like, I don't know, crochet is kind of a good project for me when my brain is, I don't know how to say it, like when I'm tired, I would rather crochet for some reason. I don't know what it is. It's same with when I'm sick. I reach for crochet as opposed to knitting. It's like my comfort craft. So, and because I've been back at work and having to like get up way earlier to get out the door and get to work for a certain time, like I'm trying to get to work for 7:30 every morning. So I have to leave here at 7 a.m. and it's just, my body's had a hard time adjusting to those, and the time change has happened. We have the time change here in Canada. So we gained an hour, but it's been messing with me completely. My sleeps are not right and I'm just exhausted, just really exhausted. So this project has been a nice comfort project for me at the end of the day. So in terms of spinning, I do have a finished object. I finished spinning my border cheviot. And I have to say again, a great big thank you to those who left comments giving me some tips and tricks and guidance in terms of my spinning. And I even had one really generous offer of an individual who offered to come like visit me and spin with me in person to like help me get on my way, which was amazing. Like I said, this community just never ceases to amaze me. So thank you so much. And with the tips that I was provided, what I did was I started spinning on instead of spinning on my shortest whorl, I moved up to my middle whorl, and I adjusted my break tension so that it was taking up the fiber faster, or sorry, taking up the ply faster as opposed to slower, so that it was like, because what was happening was my break wasn't tense at all. It was pretty slack. And so it was allowing me to put in a ton of twist into that ply, which was causing it to be overplied. And so then I had to keep like kind of adjusting to make sure I wasn't being underplied, because I had switched my whorl size and stuff like that. So it was a real trial and error on this fiber. But I did lots of ply back tests, which I'd never done in the past, to make sure that, you know, I was spinning yarn that was somewhat balanced. And yeah, this is what I got. And I'm pretty happy with it. It's still like, there's still sections I can see where, like, I know I was adjusting things along the way and stuff. So there's a few underspun spots. But overall, I'm much happier with the result. It's definitely not overspun. It's got lots of bounce to it. It's a lot thicker than I want. Like, I want to be able to spin finer, but yeah, it turned out, like, the quality of it turned out a lot better than I've been having luck with in the past few spins. So that was really great. And I'm anxious to get back on my wheel and start my next one, because I was feeling very frustrated. I was feeling a little discouraged, because I've been spinning for a year now on my wheel, and it felt like I was going backwards for some reason. But it's just because I wasn't taking the time to learn my wheel and adjust. I wasn't taking that time. And so it was nice to have those reminders and those tips and tricks provided to me. So thanks again. And yes, I will continue on my journey. Okay, so that was the border cheviot. And I think next up I've pulled out another white. I'm sticking with the whites for now. And I'm going to be spinning an East Frisian, I think, is next up. Okay, so that's it for finished objects. Now I'll move into acquisitions, which I don't typically do, but I wanted to talk about the Stitch Fest that happened here in our city's area. So this is the first time it was done, and it was a small venue, and just, you know, minimal amount of makers or vendors, and it was cozy, and it was nice. It was relaxed. To be fair, I didn't get there right at the beginning, and I think it was a lot busier when it first opened. However, I wasn't feeling well that day, so I ended up showing up quite late, like kind of near the end of it. So it was a little quieter when I went, but like it was nice to talk to the different vendors and to, they were all from kind of our area. Our area as in Northern Ontario, I should say. So one is from Wanapitei, which is just outside of Sudbury. So that's Greater Sudbury area as well. So yeah, that was fun. And they offered drop spinning class that you could take and learn how to drop spin. And there was a class offered as well on how to make bracelets using beads and like leather, I think. I didn't end up taking either of the classes, but I did talk to the instructors, and yeah, it was fun. And I got to watch some people who were learning how to spin, and it reminded me of how much I used to love drop spinning. And like, I haven't done it. I'm looking over there because my drop spindle is sitting there all completely neglected. It has not been picked up since I got my wheel, which I knew would happen. That's why I put off getting a wheel right away. But I really would love to return to drop spinning again. I'm not sure how my tension will be, but yeah, so it's something I'd really like to do. But while I was there, of course, I had to, support the local vendors. So I did purchase some things. And since we were just talking about Fibre, maybe I'll talk about my Fibre acquisition. So this is some spinning fiber, 100% Rambouillet wool, 20 to 25 micron, 50 to 70 millimeter staple length, 50 grams in the colorway Evie from the Frosted Stitch, who is our local hand dyer. And it's this beautiful, you can see, I hope, the purples and browns. I was feeling very autumnal when I went, so I got these autumnal braids. So I got 3 of them. 1, 2, and 3. This one's folded all funny because I did that. Because I took it apart and then tried to re-braid it and clearly did not do as nice of a job as Krista did for hers. But yes, so I don't really have a plan for it. It's quite variegated. I've been doing some research because I've never like spun anything other than a solid color before. So I was trying to figure out like what are my options. And so I've been watching videos on YouTube on how to do things like fractal spins and create self-striping, and yeah, what can happen if you if you spin the different ways. So like if you separate your braids differently and stuff like that. So that's been interesting. I think with these, they're pretty like, I don't know, they're not repeating it doesn't look like it's a repeating pattern or anything. So I think I'm just going to try to get a yarn that is consistent between the 3 braids. So I'll probably take, divide it up equally and spin that way, if that makes sense. To create one yarn that's kind of the same so that I can use it. And I have no intentions. I have no idea what I would use it for. I have no idea. If you have any ideas, please do let me know. Okay, so that was one acquisition. And then I also got this little mystery mini skein set. So you don't know what colors you're gonna get. It's all sock yarns, 5 colors. And I got this like autumnal kind of set. Their colors are much darker, I'd say, in real life. Like this red is showing up very bright, but it's actually quite dark. So yeah, those will be fun to do. Maybe striped socks, or maybe I'll throw them in with my, when my mom and I do our frugal Advent socks this year. These might work. I'm not going to tell you what we're doing yet. It's going to be a surprise, but I think we've kind of figured out what we're going to do. But yeah, so they definitely won't go to waste. And the whole surprise factor of a mystery bag totally got me. And then the other thing that I purchased was those were from the Frosted Stitch as well. And this is also from the Frosted Stitch. Was one skein of her non-superwash patina colorway, fingering weight, merino, 4-ply, 100 grams, 436 yards. And I just thought this colorway was so pretty. It's got like, it's like a rust speckles on this like beautiful turquoisey background, or sagey green, more sage I would say. Yeah, so definitely want to use this in some kind of a colorwork. So I've been having a look at patterns and options, and I pulled out some colors from my stash that I could use as the main color. So I was thinking either this green, which looks nice, or this, what's this, maple, which also looks nice. It brings out the brown kind of. Did I say rust? I don't know if that's rust. It's more like this color. I guess there's some darker spots too. But yeah, what do you think? Which color do you like better? Actually, the green doesn't look as well. In person, it matches so much nicer, but in this one, the maple definitely looks better on the camera. That would be pretty, I think, eh? Yeah, so that's just an idea for future makes. A two color colorwork sweater, fingering weight. Might be nice. Okay, I think that is it for all of the making talk. I don't really have too much in the way of life stuff other than, like I said, I'm returning to work, or I've returned to work 4 days a week, and in January we have to go 5 days a week. I'm not looking forward to that drive in the winter, especially. It's far enough that it's like, yeah, it's not that far. I mean, it takes me about half an hour, but most of that's because of the traffic. There's a lot of traffic at 7 o'clock in the morning that I was not aware of. I didn't realize it was so busy. But yeah, so that's happening. What else? My mom just messaged me today to tell me that her and my stepdad are coming tomorrow to spend the winter with, well, not the winter, I guess, to spend the next few months with us. Yeah, because like, we had snow yesterday. Was it yesterday? Was there snow? I think it was snow on the ground yesterday. Like, winter's coming. It didn't stay. It's all melted now. Like, I'm looking outside and it's sunny, but it's chilly. It's all in the minuses now. -1 to 2 Celsius every day kind of thing for the next little while. Yeah, we had Halloween and we got 4 kids, which is like, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but last year we got 0 kids, so I was super excited. But they all kind of came right at the beginning in 2 sets, like 2 kids came and then 2 other kids came not long after. So it's like, oh my gosh, we're gonna get tons of kids. And I only bought a little bit of candy because last year we got no kids. So I was like, I gotta be cheap. So I only gave them a little bit of candy, and then they were the only kids we got. So I have all this leftover candy. I don't know how people do it. How do you plan? It's like, you can't, you never know. Some places got like 200, 300 kids, not us. Oh well, it was fun. My daughter went trick-or-treating. She was dressed up as Mau Mau, which is a character from an anime. Apothecary Diaries? Did I get that right? It might have been. Anyways, yes, she was an anime character, and she went trick-or-treating with her friends in a different neighborhood this time. Last year her friends came here and went. This time she went to another friend's place and went, and then they did like a sleepover. And apparently I was like, oh, they're gonna stay up so late because they're gonna have all this candy and they're gonna be all high on sugar. And apparently they all crashed by like 9 p.m. They were so tired. That's funny. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't really have much else going on. Yeah. So I guess I'll leave it there, and I hope that you are having a wonderful fall or spring, depending on which part of the world you're living in, and that you're getting lots and lots of making done. Take care and happy making. Bye.